And the promoter in question came back and he was like, dude, this band's huge. They're going to be big. They're going places, man. You're going to want to be on good terms with them. You're going to want to give them what they want. And you know what, dude? I can't tell you how many times I've done sound for a band that became enormous, big, huge. Everything went well. I don't get that phone call. They're never like, hey, man, we remembered you from this job, and we think you should be our touring provider. As soon as like a band makes it, their guys are dying to deal with Thunder Audio, Claire Brothers. They're not going to think like, hey, man, let's give him a shot. He was good to us. So anyway, bands I've done that got huge, man. There's one band in particular. Grooney will know this, right? Christmas Party. Never mind. I don't want to say the names on here. Where like we actually had a legitimate reason for them to hook us up down the road. You know, and when I tried to pull that card, it was just like, oh yeah, no, Thunder Audio is our preferred company. And it was like, wow, you forgot everything that we did for you all those months. Grooney in particular really helped this guy out, you know, and I'm going to tell this story. I don't give a shit if he sees it. The guy had no idea what he was doing. And we were doing a show, right? Did I tell this at the last one?
You haven't told us yet.
Which gig is this?
I'm curious which gig this is too, because I think I might know.
This guy went on to become the front of house engineer for potentially the biggest artist right now. Potentially.
I think, he might be.
Don't say the names because I don't want to have any of this.
Oh, he's not. I think he's fading, but he was.
I will say this. The guy didn't have a fucking clue what he was doing. And when we were sound checking, every time his drummer hit the snare drum, we heard. And I was like, what the hell is with that delay? I was like, why am I hearing the snare drum twice? Right? This guy didn't hear it at all. He didn't hear it at all. By the way, he had to have an SD10. He had to have waves. He had to have all the plugins, the whole nine, dude. He had to have it all, right? So then we give it to him, and he can't even hear that there's a massive, massive delay on his entire mix. So me and Grooney don't want to, like, offend the guy right in front of him. We sort of wait till he goes to lunch, and then we start poking in the console, and it turns out he had every plugin known to man on his main mix bus, right? And then we looked at it, right? And it was like a million samples, like because if you hover the mouse over it, it tells you however many samples. And it was like 17,000 samples or something like that, right? It had some number. It was like, whoa. And then as soon as we bypassed it, it all went away. Long story short, he comes back. We explain it to him. Next thing you know, he sees that Grooney's the Digico whiz, and like we all know what we're doing. Picks Grooney's brain. Grooney becomes his tech support while he's on the road. Right? Isn't this the way it goes? You gotta chime in here.
It wasn't quite like that. So then we got each other's info, and he called me the next day and offered me to take that gig basically because he was moving on with that from that artist.
But you set up his console, didn't you? Wasn't part of what you did. Like you went through his file, you taught him how to use waves, you taught him how to like not have that delay happen.
Well, kind of. So I mean, like on that day.
Grooney's being humble. Stop talking.
Wait, no. I'm trying to remember how it went. No, because we didn't really do that much like on site that day. But then like toward rehearsals, we built both files because the next gig with that artist that we were doing was big and had a bigger band. So what happened is he kind of, as we were building the one file, he would like see what we were doing, and then that would like we would work on both simultaneously. All
right. So either way, dude, he benefited from you. You got that gig. You helped him out tremendously, right? You were his tech support. I remember you answering the phone constantly, and it was him. So the day came, I wasn't like, dude, give me the tour. But something came up where there was a one-off at a venue that I've worked in plenty of times. And I was like, yo, dude, I'd really like to do this job. Can you guys like help us out, put in a good word, whatever, like let me see the rider, you know? And the answer was basically just like, no. Okay. So like, dude, even when you put in the legwork on things like that, they don't come back to you. How did I even start talking about this? What was the original question?
Oh, the one guy who had said that he also helped bands when they were young and it never came back to him.
Yeah, so it's like you can't count on it, man. Like, don't. And if there's one thing I could say, don't give things away because you think that like a band is going to take you on the road with them. Like they might. I mean, things have happened, but I think it's more for a tech's perspective. As a company owner, don't expect much. As a tech, yeah, maybe you can get a gig from a bigger band. But as a company owner, and when you're renting gear and stuff, I can't think of any time where like a band came back to me and it really paid off. It's the clients that have come back to me. You know what I mean? Or other potential clients that saw that show and said, who did sound at this? But I've never had a band pick me up like, and any of those guys. So